Kyle here from All Media Reviews. Here to do another um, CDA to Z. I'm gonna plan to do the Rock Hall snub ranking list I made. I'm pretty close to done with that. And then I actually might try to make that Variety.com did a characters list of top 100 characters of the 21st century in television. So there's a lot of stuff in there that I like, I appreciate, but a lot of stuff that was weird. And so there's a lot of stuff. I want to make my own list. I'm slowly making that list anyway, but that's in the works. But and some other stuff, of course. I should do a calendar update some point soon here. But here to still continue on the CDA to Z for today. And it's pretty long. This could be 30-40 minute video. I don't know because I'm probably not gonna do a part 3 for the D's. And I did the Dream Theater stuff technically alphabetically out of order. I was trying to because there's so many I wanted to isolate. So anyway, so, all right. I thought I had more than one CD from this band, but I have at least one of their vinyl. Maybe I have two of their. I think I have two records, at least one, but vinyl records. But this is Dream the Electric Sleep's album. I think it was their third album, Heretics from 2014, and remains my favorite. It's the one that the singer Matt Page sounds the most like, maybe the most like Jimmy Necco at points. But they're from Kentucky, I believe. But Elizabeth is like the biggest highlight on here, but there's a couple other just banger tracks. There's a little bit of a blues element. What is it? Heretics. Um, um, the title track, the opening track. It's like a suite. It's actually like a suite if you look at it. I don't think this ever came out on vinyl, but Utopic. What is it? Oh, the name you fear. Yeah, I think it's about like the Dust Bowl and about heretics, obviously. So I think unless it was the next album they talked about the Dust Bowl, but anyway, because they put like Harriet Tubman on here, and anyway, maybe Susan B. Anthony, and it's very American. A lot of the topic of it is very American. So all right, yeah, these are I have some of this stuff out of order. Oh my, yeah, okay. I knew that I had this stuff out of in the wrong order because D and R. Well, actually, okay. My apologies. Yeah, these a lot of these CDs should have gone before Dream Theater, but because here's the DOs, but you know. So I have this CD from I mentioned him in one of the albums of the year series. This was 90. Maybe I didn't. This was 96. Well, anyway, this is a guy by the name of Ryan Down. Um, and I think he opened for The Who. Pretty sure he was the one I saw open for The Who in 97 when they did Quadrophenia. The album called The Hypocrite. And I remember liking this album a fair amount. I don't know, but at the same time, I'm struggling to remember how I describe it. It is kind of singer songwriter, but it wasn't like stripped down singer songwriter. Maybe kind of in the power pop veins, a little bit like Jellyfish. Maybe more a little bit like sort of 90s alternative rock, like Black Crows, or that's kind of classic blues rock, kind of blues rock. Yeah, I remember liking it. And like a couple of years ago when I was going through my CDs, I found this or remembered this, and featuring Where Am I Gonna Run To? I don't know whatever happened to him. Maybe he's got more albums. I think this was his debut album, but anyway, The Hypocrite. I think it was either him, or no, it wasn't Van Halen. Because I saw Van Halen. One of the shows I saw at Target Center. So, all right. So here's my Doves collection. Doves, the great sort of progressive art rock Britpop band from the 2000s and 2010s, and they have a new album coming out. It was supposed to. I was originally going to come out last Friday on Valentine's, but it's been pushed back to the 28th of February. But the second comeback album after a long hiatus. But so here's my copy of Lost Souls, the first album, which features several tracks I like. My favorite among their whole catalog um, came out in the year 2000. Here it comes, Break Me Gently, Sea Song Rise, the title track, Catch the Sun. It's fantastic. Great debut album. So then from the first album, I have the CD single. It's a Holland import. I think I found this at like the Electric Fetus or 10/2008. In October 2008, I found this. It doesn't. Oh, the artwork is right there, but it's for the There Goes the Fear single, and it has Hit the Ground Running, Here It Comes live on Triple J. That was Australia, and then the Cedar Room. So Yeah, I mean, Doves. When I got into them, I pretty much wanted to buy almost everything they had. The second album I'm missing, I believe, but second or third album. Third, I think it was the third album, but yeah, there goes the Fear CD single, and then I have a couple things here. Okay, so I have the last broadcast, which maybe that was the second. I think that was the second. I should know their catalog better. That was 2000. Yeah, so that was the second album. I don't like this as much as Lost Souls, but I still have always liked this album. Although I always felt like I wanted to like it more with the title like The Last Broadcast. It'd be very cinematic. M62 song is the one. Well, I'm totally. There Goes the Fear was on this album actually. I'm thinking it was on the debut album. There Goes the Fear. This is the CD single for There Goes the for The Last Broadcast because There Goes the Fear is on this album. My bad. But I was just saying, there M62 songs on this record, The Last Broadcast, and that is basically reinterpreting King Crimson's Moonchild, I think it is. But yeah, I mean, it Caught by the River. It is intro. This is kind of cinematic. It's more like a full album experience, even though I got this at Rasputin's in Berkeley, California, in the Bay Area. But anyway, well, I was thinking that some of there's Catch the Sun. There's a lot of songs that kind of, I mean, some of them I always associate with the first album, but some of them I forget. No, that's a little bit like the Black Crowes, actually. Um, so then I have this thing. I don't know when I found this. It's called Lost Side. So I think it's demos from Lost Souls. And I listened to it maybe once, but it's two discs. It's got like a bunch of remixes and stuff. Um, it's a double disc. I don't remember even where I bought this. This was at half price books. Okay, back I don't know what year it was. 10, 7, 20 something. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Maybe it's 726. It was 2010. I don't remember. Um, Boxer and stuff. Well, you have your whole career to make your debut album. You have a lot of stuff that doesn't make it, but Meet Me at the Pier down. But some of these songs are probably renamed or were named for the final, version on Lost Souls. But Break Me Gently instrumental. That's with the trippy vocals. But anyway, and then I have so I never got Some Cities because I remember when I listened to it, wasn't doing it for me with the lowest rated, so I just never got around to buying it. I probably still should buy just so I have a complete collection. I don't have a physical copy of the last one, the new one either. Of course, hasn't come out, but this is Kingdom of Rust from 2007, 2009. It's like 4 years between Some Cities. Because Some Cities I think was 2005, and this was a return to form in some ways. I don't know if I would say I like this more than Last Broadcast. I don't like it as much as Lost Souls, but it's kind of splitting hairs. Winter Hill, 1003, The Greatest Denier. Yeah, I mean, I know the production was very good on this record. That was part of why I liked it. But anyway, I saw them on this tour too. I remember that. But yeah, Dove's band I really like. I have mostly CDs. I have Lost Souls. It's the only one I think I have on vinyl. So, all right. So moving through the D's. Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be. Yeah, I'm kind of going. Yeah, I'm kind of going backwards here. My apologies. So this is just. I had these stacked and I had them stacked the wrong way. Yeah. Okay. I know because I did the Dream Theater thing. I just didn't. All right. Well, my apologies. So here's my Al Di Meola compact disc collection, which I showed basically all of this, almost all of it, not all of it in the albums of the year series. So I have Casino, which is like. Let me do this in the order. Okay. So I have his debut album, Land of the Midnight Sun, came out in '76 as title track, and The Wizard, Love Theme for Picture at Sea, The Sweet Golden Dawn, and yeah, I mean it's Al Di Meola, it's after Return to Forever basically was calling it a day. He's like, well, I have a lot of a little bit like Steve Hackett with Genesis, although this was still out when this came out. I think that was the same year. This came out the same year that Romantic Warrior came out, but before Return to Forever basically took a break. Um, so then I have Elegant Gypsy. This is the next year, I believe. And this is his finest solo record for me. I love Land of the Midnight Sun, but this has Flight Over Rio, um, Race with the Devil, and Spanish Highway, his finest composition. Probably the finest. These are all on Columbia, right? Yeah. Um, and I got this. Where did I got this at Discland back in who knows what year when I was collecting. It was probably early 2000s. I worked right near the Discland. They sold like out of all this stuff. So then Splendido Hotel, that was 80, and Casino. I first forget the order. This says 90. This Casino was 78. So this is the one he was trying some different things, doing some flamenco stuff. This has Egyptian Danza also, and this is Colombia, but the of course the label printing on the disc looks different because it's jazz. But just remember the years. Like I remember the Rush album, and Yes album release years. That was 78, and then 80 was Splendido Hotel, I believe. And this was the more departure. There were some vocals on this, I believe. But not a bad record. It's sort of required listening. Again, it's got the Columbia label, Columbia, pressing of compact disc, and these are the digital remastered directly from the original tapes, stamp of approval for Columbia Jazz. They were doing that series. I have some other CDs from that same thing. So then I have, of course, the live album Tour de Force Live, which I did listen to when I got it, and I haven't listened since. I think I have this on vinyl. At least I see it on vinyl frequently. I think I bought it, but maybe I didn't. It's got Egyptian Danza and Erase the Devil on the Spanish Highway, especially those are the biggest two. Cruising from Jan Hammer, because Jan Hammer was maybe part of his band. Yeah, Steve Gadd, Anthony Jackson, but he collaborated with Jan Hammer frequently outside of Return to Forever. So, and then of course Di Meola, the first one, Di Meola, McLaughlin, Paco de Lucia, the Friday Night in San Francisco live album I have on compact disc. I think I have it on vinyl too, but I have the little hype sticker, and this is a Columbia release too. This came out, I want to say it was 80 or 81 too. It was the same year of I think the Tour de Force might have been 82, but it's right around the same time. This is 80, 81, so yeah, this the flamenco acoustic album with those two other virtuosos in 81, and then you have the live album he did with his own band in 82. Yeah, he's pretty prolific. He's always been prolific, but jazz artists seem to be prolific. So, all right, so I'm trying to do this in order. Yeah, and these are the the DIs again. So yeah, I did this. I took these out of the cases in the wrong order, but it's all D's at least. This is the last part of the D's. So here's my Dirt Poor Robbins compact disc collection. I have, well, all right. So I have, this is not, I don't know if this is a bootleg or this is issued by some group. I don't know if this is actually authorized by the band. It might have been. They had their early albums on CD, a few of them at least, but they may have been just like CDRs printed. But this is the Ravenlocks Act 1, which is really hard to find. But I don't have any of the other individual Ravenlock CDs. I think this has all the lyrics inside. So, no, it doesn't actually. Yeah, this is kind of limited, but as a collector and if something rare, it's good to at least have this because I don't know if you can find it that easily now. So then I do have the two copies. I decided to buy because I love this stuff so much, and I have the Ravenlocks collection in effect, all three, Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. You know, it's a double disc, which came out as like 2018. It was not that long after I became a fan, 2018, 2019. Because you couldn't, for a while, I mean, just none of their stuff, they didn't have any physical product. It was weird. They're a working band, and you can see, but yeah, it's fantastic. Push comes to shove, it's probably still my go-to. My favorite song on here is Solemn Dream, so the third track on the first one, but the big concept, Great Vacation, Welcome to Lady Hell, it's, I mean, if you want to listen to the whole thing in one swoop, be worth doing. But yeah, I don't know if there's, I mean, the booklet, I've never, because I have all the digital versions of these, I've never really paged through it. I don't think it's lyrics, it's all the lyrics. Yeah, so and the other disc I think looks the same. Yeah, no. Yeah, it looks the same as that blue set fictional concept story set in the, maybe in the 19th century. So then I also have Dead Horse, the Dead Horse saga of all the Dead Horse EPs plus some new tracks, which is also a double disc. But this is a slipcase. It's more cost effective. Which came out in 2020. The Dead Horse EPs were like 2019 and maybe 2018, but they're different colored. One's purple and one's red. This is purple. One's like indigo or But yeah, Dead Horse. I have this on vinyl as well. So all right, that's my Dirt for Robbins compact disc collection. All right, so yeah, really did this sort of ass backwards, as some people say, in some of the lettering. Hopefully, won't do too many more in this out of order pattern. So, I have one compact disc from the German, I believe they're German, sort of atmospheric progressive metal band, kind of a progressive extreme metal band, Disillusion. They're not that extreme enough. Very atmospheric. Their debut album, what's it called again? Times of Back to Times of Splendor, which I like the record they put out a couple of years ago. I think I contend the that single track, which is like 13 minutes, Aaliyah, is the best thing they ever did. But this is the one. The one after it wasn't as good. I forget that it's one word. It's a name of something. But anyway, Disillusion, Back to Times of Splendor. Got that in. I don't know if I got this. Got that at Cheapo, I guess, back in 2008. Um, right. And okay, of course, I've got the Disassociatives album. I must have shown this on the Empire 2004 list. Self-titled album, Daniel Johns and Paul Mac. Daniel Johns of Silverchair. Um, Electronic power pop, kind of like Jellyfish in some ways. A little more electronic, a little bit like the Postal Service. Awesome record. I will someday. I want this to come on vinyl. I guess I'd rather have another album than have it come on vinyl, but someday it really would be lovely to come on vinyl. They of course previously were known as I Can't Believe It's Not Rock. That was an EP they put out, but yeah, I mean songs like Young Man, Old Man, Angry Megaphone Man, catchy as hell, atmospheric. Um, Forever and a Day, Lifting the Veil from the Braille. Great record, The Disassociatives from 2004, the self-titled. So, and I showed this when I did that whole album. I did the short twice actually preview. This is Distrail's Virginia Creeper. You know, the Jared Draugens and Bitsy Peanut project. Very classically influenced and very kind of atmospheric and melancholy. Virginia Creeper, the debut EP. Yeah, I showed this two times in the 2008 Empire. Was it 2008? 2007 Empire. And then it was also I did the Jared Draugens video, showed it. So all right, so then I've got here's the back to the DOs. I think it's two discs from this band, which I've listened to and I saw them live the same day I saw Appleseed Cast at a separate show, but I haven't listened to these albums that many. I have, Do Make Say Think. I have one album that's called Winter Hymn, Country Hymn, Secret Hymn. It's three words. Post rock. It's chamber post rock, and the artwork is kind of nondescript, but you know that's kind of they have a similar Godspeed sort of. It's interesting in a way. It's subtle. You'd have to spend some time with it. But they use chamber instrumentation and a lot of post rock tropes. But it's interesting. And then I have this record also. I bought this. I think I bought both at the show. And you know the title. I'm not even sure. Objects Oceans. I forget. I have to maybe even pull it out. This might be their debut album actually. And it's like, yeah, we don't even have it's just like you just have to listen to it and then identify it online. This is another album from them. I guess maybe in the description I'll no, it's in here. Do Make Say Things. Yet and Yet, I think it is. It's really hard to read there, but right there. But they're a band I like, but for my if I'm going to post rock, I think in my favorite post rock they're in the next group. They're not my first favorite. They're not in the top group, but they're in the second or third group for sure. I like them a lot more than a lot of sort of predictable post rock bands beyond even Explosions in the Sky. But so those are my two Do Make Say Think discs. All right, so this band, yeah, this is a band called Dive. I don't know. I think I bought this from eBay. It was recommended because it was a Kevin Gilbert comparison. And it was only vague, but this album came out in 1992. The album's called Stills. I was thinking it was like but Nice Price. This it was on a this that was a major. The Nice Price is on a label, but it was Mercury. Yeah. Um, from my memory, it's kind of alternative. I don't know, more like REM, that kind of thing, but or Live, Dive. Interesting name, but I don't know. It's one of those things where I haven't thought about this. I bought this probably maybe close to 10 years ago, and it was really cheap. And I saw the Kevin Gilbert comparison. I'm like, I'll have to check this out. But uh, I don't know if Kevin was involved with this at all. That may have been part of what I was thinking. But anyway, Dive, Stills, and then okay, I have one of the three albums that he released, and I think this is the one that's acoustic mostly. The late Charlie Dominici, original, the first singer on an album from Dream Theater, of course. O3A Trilogy Part 1. And, I thought, well, the acoustic one would be a little different because I did two other records and they were very kind of new metal influence, unfortunately. They were progressive in some ways, but it's like, Charlie, what happened? But this one's just him and like his acoustic guitar mostly. 2005 this album came out, but I got it for what was it, $8 at cheapo back in 2008. But R.I.P. Charlie. All right, so let's move on to some more D's. So I have Antoine. Well, see, that would go way later because that's DU. And okay, yeah. All right, I have Paquito de Rivera. In my jazz video, I showed this. This is a compilation, a taste of Paquito, but there's some great tracks on here, including Manteca. He's an Afro-Cuban jazz artist. It's another like the Al Di Meola stuff I just showed. This is Paquito de Rivera. I can't remember if he played with like Duke Ellington. I mean, he played with some other people, and then he a lot of his own stuff. I mean, I like it his stuff to Pancho Sanchez. I lean a little bit more to Pancho, but I like Paquito. But again, this is just a compilation, so I haven't had much experience with his live recordings or his proper studio albums. But maybe someday I will. Um, all right, so yeah, I'm just struggling with this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that one last. Yeah, I definitely didn't. My apologies, but here's my two discs from the band The Dresden Dolls. Amanda Palmer, of course, original band or one of her original bands. Uh, Yes, Virginia, and then the self-titled. The self-titled. Most people like Yes, Virginia more. I've never liked this music as much as the solo stuff she's done, but I've liked it. A lot of it's piano, like cabaret punk. Um, they're a duo, but I've never saw them live. I've seen her live a few times, but I know they did some reunion shows in the last few years. But oh yeah, there's some stuff maybe I probably shouldn't be showing. Amanda, of course, is kind of an exhibitionist, but yeah, she's the same age as me, from Boston. Fortunately, her and Neil not really happening anymore, but he's still the father of her kid. But yeah, no, I mean, I can't remember if Coin Operated Boy is on this one. It's on Roadrunner Records, a metal label of all labels, but the parental advisory, or is it on this one? This has got Sing. That's one. This is Yes Virginia. She didn't know Virginia. Like I think he released that after the first solo record she did. Um, Brian, I forget his last name. He's the drummer and the basically the other songwriter in the Dresden Dolls. But like 2003, 2005, 2004, 2000. I can't remember the years on these two, but anyway. I mean, they're kind of loosely with Empire, but it's more cabaret punk, I guess you could say. But all right, yeah, because I know that's not in the right order. So I'm gonna do is pull this out because I have a really biggie to show here. Yep. All right. I did these stacks. My fault. Yep. Okay. So here's my Dredge collection. So it's not nearly as big as the Dream Theater one, but it's still sizable enough. So all right, so I got this promo excerpts from Leitmotif CD. I got it at Amoeba Records for $2. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was recently. I showed it on a video. I'm pretty sure, like what's in my bag. I did my what's in my bag version. There goes the lighting. My apologies. But yeah, this is a kind of one of my cherished Dredge items. So then I have one left. I got maybe 30 or 40 of these things. This is the Dredge live performance at the Henry Fonda Theater DVD with the Catch Without Arms in store. They had these at Best Buy in 2005, right before Catch with Our Arms came out. And I already liked them. I already gotten into them at the point. Not that long before, but it was probably like a month. But they had these, and they were a penny. They were supposed to come with the album, I guess. It's right when the album came out, actually. Yeah. So I just went and bought a whole boatload at Best Buy. I didn't care. We were supposed to buy it with the album, but I'm like, screw it. I want to just buy this thing and just give them to people. And I gave them to people for about the course of like 3 or 4 months. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's kind of a value. I remember I did one. We had like a online Mike Portnoy forum Super Bowl auction thing. That was one of the prizes, I think. So all right, here's the proper stuff. Some of it. Let motif. I've got. This is, I think, the original artwork, and it's harder to find. And again, the release date of Let motif. This is the one. This is the original artwork, but this has the HD CD. Leitmotif was released by them in 1998 at like shows, then on an independent label in '99, and then in 2001 on Interscope. Its release date is one of those cluster bleeps, but this thing's not attached, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a great debut album. Raw. I mean, it's polished compared to the previous two EPs they released. But here's the this is, I think, the one that maybe was released on Interscope. But I had this thing for probably at least 2 years. And I was on the Traversing site, but I had no idea there was a booklet in this sucker. And the booklet, what does the booklet have? It has the story that this album is based on. The little concept that Gavin Hayes wrote up. Finding the Utah, the spirit of Utah or whatever, going traversing through the mountains or whatever. But great record. It's got Yadahazi. It's got Simple Song. It's got a lot of songs they would play live. 18 hours. What is it? 18 hours? 90 hours sleep rather. Anyway. So then, all right. Yeah, I know this is not. I have this. This is, again, I'm not doing this in full chronological order, regrettably, but well, all right. Then I'll show the try to do it in somewhat order. So I have, it looks like 4 copies of one of my top 20 or top 10 albums ever. I have two, or at least 2 copies on vinyl, too, different versions. Let El Cielo. So here's again your alternate cover, original, maybe the original, and then the standard cover with the dolly painting. Um, Different versions. This one I got used for $2 at half price. I was like, I'm gonna buy this. It's gonna be sitting here and gathering dust. One of the slipcase versions. This is probably the one I value, even though this is the cracked jewel case the most. But concept all about sleep paralysis and syncs up with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. They were recorded at Skywalker Ranch. It's just such a dream. It's one of my favorite records ever. That's why I have 4 copies of it. Um, so then I have all right. So then, and I only have 1 copy of this. I think I used to have more than one. I don't know what I may have given it away. I know I gave my girlfriend at the time, a wife, a copy of this at one point, and she did not care that much for it. But Catch Without Arms, of course, $5. I bought it yeah, 2009. I had a copy of this way before this, so I must have given her one of mine. I don't know, or I lost the other one. I misplaced it. But the Granny Smith Apple album in 2005, and I was just talking about that, got me and many people into them. Produced by Terry Date, who worked with Dream Theater at one point. Chris DeGarmo is, it's like on 1 or 2 tracks, and it's super catchy, super polished, super memorable lyrically. Um, so then again, I have this. I have a promo. I think I got this at Amoeba as well. Bug Eyes single, CD single. So, um, doing this right, but it's got Ode to the Sun also on it, and then a live acoustic version of Bug Eyes as well. So got the Dredg artwork and signature style logo and all that stuff, and stuff that Drew Roulette, their bass player and artist, does. The artist. So then I have 1 copy only of Live at the Fillmore, which is a great live album, one of my favorite live albums ever. Got a couple songs that were unreleased, like The Warbler and Stone by Stone, especially. But yeah, I mean it's epic. I'd seen them a few times around that same time, but not at this show. I saw the El Cielo and the Let Motif shows in Santa Cruz, but it was right around the same time. But I think it might have been at the Henry Fonda Theater. I can't remember. Anyway, live at the film, not at the Fillmore. It's at the Fillmore, no. But I mean, Henry Fonda might have been right around the same time. They're both out in the in some part of like Central or Northern California. But anyway, Henry Fonda and the Fillmore are not the same thing. So I have 2 copies of the follow-up to Catch Without Arms and the Live Fillmore album. One of them I never opened though. I remember getting a promo. This might be the promo I got. I found it at Cheapo a couple weeks before this album came out. The Pariah, the Parrot, the Delusion, or Pariah. Um, you know, postage stamp. And here's the one that's still in the shrink wrap. But great record. One of my favorite records from 2009. Gathering Pebbles is just such a fantastic song. Morning This Morning. I don't know. Quotes. It's about drug use. Kind of getting kind of AA, or kind of getting through the therapy through drug use and getting past the drug use. Ireland. There's so many fantastic songs on the album. And I do have a physical copy of the CD of their last album, which this is in 2011. Uh, Chuckles and Mr. Squeezy. I like this album. A lot of people still don't like it. They think, oh, there's a couple songs. The songs are better live, which I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. They work with Dan the Automator. I mean, us starving Dredg fans have been wanting them to put out a new album since this, and they've been working on a new album for the better part of 7 years now. Maybe one of the years this year's it's gonna happen. But I like some of the songs on this, especially like was it Thought of Losing You is a banger. But anyway, that's the rest of my Dredg CD collection, which is decent. Not. I mean, people have a lot more stuff like the Conscious and Orphe EPs and the Coquette demo. They have physical versions of that, but because I'm really invested with Dredg and one of my favorite bands of all time. I just think their music is really unique and moving. So all right, to wrap this whole thing up, here's yeah, okay. So I have all right, Antoine Dufour, virtuosic acoustic guitars. I saw him with Andy McKee at the Cedar Cultural Center like 18 years ago. His album from it was like 2000, probably the same year, 2005, so it was like 20 years ago. Uh, Naissance, but I remember one of my friends, yeah, he signed it. One of my friends talked about Antoine Dufour being blown away by some of his performances on YouTube, or maybe just recording. I wrote YouTube started, but he does any standards on this, but he's a jazz guitarist and sort of atmospheric guitarist, but he's mostly acoustic. But he's kind of adventurous, playing, tapping. A little like Greg Harrigas in some ways, but yeah. I remember thinking he reminded me of Greg, because I got into Greg around the same time. Greg reminded me of him, but yeah, Antoine. I don't know what he's been doing the last 20 years. I should check it out. But Antoine Dufour, Naissance. I think he's French, maybe from Canada though. I think he is. And then I have the two proper, like the remastered, sort of gatefold versions of the Dukes of Stratosphere releases. The debut EP, I don't know if the EP came first, I think, 25 o'clock. I remember it was really hard to find these for one point. And the vinyl you do see occasionally, but of course, Dukes of Stratosphere is the alter ego of the members of XTC when they were just kind of saying, we don't want to do the label thing. We're gonna do something different. And you won't know about it, and we're gonna call ourselves the same name. And I think that they go by pseudonyms like Sir John Johns and the Red. Like it's not Andy Partridge, Red Curtain. But yeah, 25 o'clock. I talked about these in those albums of the year videos. And then I have Sonic Sunspot, spelled with a P, which I think that was 85 and this was 86, I think. But yeah, I mean, I think this is considered a full length. I could be, yeah, it has demos. I think both these might have demos actually. Extra recordings, yeah. So the yeah. So Kaleidoscope. They were whimsy and very. To me, it's more like the Syd Barrett Floyd than the sort of psychedelic Beatles. But there's some of that in there too. But it's very whimsical. It's like the closest thing I've heard to the sort of Piper era Pink Floyd, the Syd era Pink Floyd. But so to round out the D's in the third video here, it would be the third video, yeah. This band called Dynamite Walls, which I think they opened for Fair to Midland. I have might just be an EP called The Pages. I kind of remember liking this band. Yeah, it's just 5 songs. This release came out. I'm struggling with this. I want to say this is probably 2008, 2009, 2010. I could be wrong, but I kind of think they were a band I saw with Fair to Midland. They're a local band. David Rappaport. I don't know. Jason Burkhart. Management Jason Burkhart. I don't know. Anyway, slipcase. So So that's it for the D's finally. I'll try to move on to the E's because, like I said, I kind of want to motor through this. I'm going to do the Rock Hall thing. I'm going to do um, a few other things, maybe some album reviews because the new Squid album I'm really liking. I may try to do a review of it. I've never done a proper review of any Squid albums though. But thank you for watching though, and we'll see you next time.